nothing much we can do anyplace.
Oh, rainy out, ain't it?
Get Mr. Matthews in New York.
Yes, Mr. Harmon.
Hurry it.
Mr. Matthews' office. It's Mr. Harmon calling from South Valley.
Hello. Hello, Harmon.
Well, there's no damages yet. When the crest of the flood reaches here, everything may go.
Is it that serious?
Yeah, it is. There's nothing we can do except wait and see what happens.
Well, when do you expect it to reach its peak?
Sometime tomorrow. I doubt if the dam could stand the pressure even if the rain stopped right now.
Well, let's hope you're wrong, but keep me advised. Well, goodbye. Get me Mr. Rhodes. That'll be all. Hello. Yes, Rhodes. I want you to listen carefully. I want you to sell all of my holdings in South Valley property, and in addition, 200,000 shares short. Yes, I know what I'm doing. You just go ahead and put the order through.
All right. All right, I'll throw in my holdings for good measure. Get my brokers.
Oh, hello, Ray.
Oh, John.
I just talked to Harmon in South Valley. Everything's all right. We've nothing to worry about. Have a cup of coffee?
No, thanks. According to the papers and the radio, we have plenty to worry about.
Oh, they exaggerate conditions. He's right on the spot. He ought to know.
John, I'm afraid you're too optimistic. There's no let-up in the rains, and the floods are said to be general throughout the valley. It looks very bad to me.
Why don't you let me do the worrying?
I wonder if you realize that I have almost every penny to my name invested in your stock.
Well, what about me and my son? We're all in the same boat.
Maybe you can afford to gamble, but I can't. And neither can the people who bought into your company on my recommendation.
Ray, if you've lost faith in my judgment, I'll buy back your stock rather than have you dump it on the market. And that goes for your friends, too. That's what I think of South Valley Power.
John, do you really mean that?
I certainly do.
Well, if you're that confident, I'll play along.
That's good, Ray. I'm glad.
Togo! Stop it. You'll kill yourself.
Hello there, Carlotta. Where's Dad?
Oh, it's you, Walter. I thought I heard a car.
Is Dad home, or don't you know?
Well, of course I do. He's in his study.
How's he feeling?
Why, fine. I was just saying to Togo, the little darling, I've never seen John looking better. Not since the day your dear mother died.
No matter how he looked to you in Togo, I'm sure he can't be feeling so well.
Why, Walter, you frightened me.
Well, that's too bad, but you may as well know it. Dad's broke.
Broke? Did you say broke?
Hello, Dad.
Oh, hello, son.
I'm certainly glad to see you not letting it get you down.
I feel rather badly about the stockholders, though.
So do I, but I was especially worried about you.
Well, that's nice of you, son, but there's no need to worry. After all, your old man isn't quite a fool.
How do you mean?
Well, when I learned that the project was almost certain to be destroyed, I disposed of our holdings. And in addition, I sold short.
I don't think I quite follow you.
Well, it's perfectly clear. Instead of going broke, we've made a fortune for both of us.
What about Jordan and the rest of the stockholders?
Well, if I'd given anyone the tip to sell, there wouldn't have been any cleanup for us.
Don't say us. I don't want any part of those profits.
It's time you learned how money was made, young man. Your mother's inheritance won't last you forever.
I think I'd rather starve than make it the way you do.
Walter!
It's no use pretending, darling. We can't afford to live here any longer.
I don't mind, Dad.
You're a grand girl, Marion.
You sent for me, sir?
Yes, Henry. It's very difficult for me to tell you this, but I have no choice. Henry, I'm broke. I've lost everything in the collapse of the South Valley Power Company.
I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Means, of course, that I'll have to sell the house and let everybody go. I sent for you to ask you to relieve me of the embarrassment of having to explain all this to the other servants.
You want me to give them their notice?
Yes, if you will. And I want you to be sure and tell them I'll do everything I possibly can to help them get new positions. And that applies especially to you, Henry.
You are going to discharge me, too, sir.
I'll have to. I can't afford the luxury of your services any longer.
What am I going to do, sir? It's very difficult for me to get another position at my age, sir.
Yes, that never occurred to me. Well, don't worry, Henry. We'll manage to take care of each other somehow.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Walter,
Hello, Marion.
so you finally decided to look us up again.
I'm sorry, darling. I just couldn't before.
Dad's in the living room. You can make your apologies to him later for staying away. Now, you sit down and tell me what you've been doing. Dad, here's another South Valley victim.
Now, don't get up. I hope you haven't been avoiding us just because we're all broke.
No. As a matter of fact, I didn't have the nerve to face you before. No, I feel responsible for you having bought that stuff.
Oh, well, silly, we don't feel that way about it.
Of course not. You're not to blame. We're all in the same boat.
We're not, though. That's just the point. I still have plenty of money.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Walter.
I've been trying to think of some less clumsy way of saying this, but I want you to let me make up part of what you lost.
We couldn't do that, Walter. If you have any money to give away, it's your father who's entitled to it, not me.
We had a little disagreement. I moved away from home a few days ago.
Forget the difference, son. And go and make your father the same offer you've just made me.
He doesn't need it. He didn't lose anything. He sold out when things started to look bad.
You what?
He sold out.
Just a minute. Hello? Hello, Walter. I've had quite a time getting in touch with you. I'm very anxious to see you.
I believe we're better off keeping out of each other's way.
Oh, don't say that, Walter. I'm sure we can straighten everything out when we get together.
No. I'll never be able to see things your way, Dad, so I think it's rather pointless for us to meet. Goodbye.
You shouldn't have done that. I think you ought to go out and see him.
Won't hurt to hear what he has to say.
If you knew all the details, you wouldn't suggest that.
I think you're being very stubborn, Walter. Maybe your father's willing to make some adjustments with Mr. Jordan.
You don't know my father. But thanks for the advice, anyway. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Rhodes.
Mr. Matthews is expecting me.
Think Mr. Matthews in steady.
You needn't announce me.
Lee! Lee! Police headquarters.
Oh, Togo, you frightened me. What have you got there? What is it? An onion. Togo, you come here to me. Come on. Don't you know that that will make you smell just dreadfully? Come to Mama here. Let me give you a little perfume. There. Why, Tony. Why, you know you're not supposed to come up here.
John can't object anymore. He's dead. It looks like he was murdered.
Oh, how terrible.
You'd better remember that you've been asleep since 2 o'clock. You didn't hear anything till I came in at 5 minutes of 4 and woke you, understand?
I went to sleep at 5 minutes of 4 and woke up at 2 o'clock.
You went to sleep at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
Now you'd better get dressed. The police are on the way.
The police. I went to sleep at 5 minutes of 4, and I woke up at 2 o'clock.
Dad,
Oh, darling.
let me take your coat. Henry's out doing the marketing.
Dad.
Oh, darling, don't look so scared. This isn't mine. I never owned a gun in my life. That isn't my coat.
It looks like Walter's.
I met Walter at Queen's office. I must have picked up his coat by mistake.
Why is Walter carrying a gun?
I don't...
We're the police.
My master is dead.
We wouldn't be here if he was alive. Inspector Queen, I'm Anthony Rhodes, Mr. Matthews' attorney.
What'd you say the name was, Rhodes?
Anthony Rhodes.
Mm-hmm. Looks like suicide to me.
What makes you think so?
This golf score. I'd kill myself, too, if I couldn't do better than 110.
What were you doing here?
Well, Matthews phoned for me. When I got here, I found him like this, with his son Walter lying unconscious beside him.
Well, where's Walter now?
He's upstairs.
Really bring him down here?
Yes, sir.
Well, why did Matthews send for you?
Well, he wanted me to be here when he signed the new will, which eliminated his son from any share in the estate.
Get that guy, Walter.
Well, who benefits by this new will?
Miss Carlotta Emerson, who's Matthews' sister-in-law.
He'll be right down, I think.
Well, he'd better. Does this boy Walter know about this?
Well, he must. Right after this first quarrel, Matthews had me draw up the will, which he only intended to use as a threat to make Walter come home and behave.
Well, why did he want to sign it today?
He told me he'd talked to Walter and he was definitely through with him.
Who else lives in this house beside this Chinese servant?
2 maids, a monkey, and Miss Emerson.
Miss Emerson. Well, where is she?
I understand she's upstairs asleep. I didn't feel quite up to breaking the news to her, Inspector.
Oh, I see.
Did you want to see me?
Oh, this is Walter Matthews, Inspector Queen.
Oh, that's the boy, eh? How do you do, sir?
How you doing?
Sit down. Would you mind bringing Miss Emerson down here right away, please?
I'm afraid this will be a great shock to her, Inspector.
Well, son, what do you know about this?
Practically nothing. When I got here, my father was dead. I tried to telephone the police when I was knocked unconscious.
Well, have you any idea who might have struck you?
No, I haven't.
I understand that you and your father were not on very friendly terms, and why did you come here today?
He telephoned me and pleaded with me to come and see him. As a matter of fact, he called at your son's office. Ellery spoke to him, too.
Oh, really? Have Ellery confirm that, please.
Yes, sir.
Not on that phone.